The Iowa poll that shows Kamala Harris up 3 points is a shocker. Shocker. Let me go through it and give you 6 things to pay attention to. Okay, so this poll came out Saturday night as I was going out. So I went out and I came back and I thought, and I said, you know what, I'm going to make a video. So this is that video. So this poll showed Harris 47, Trump 44, which in Iowa, which is not one of the 7 states we've been talking about as a swing state. So let's talk about a few things about Iowa, about the poll, and inside the poll that I hope will make you smarter about all this. All right, so my takeaway, my thought number 1. Iowa has been a Republican state for the last 8 to 10 years. So Trump won it by 8 in 2020. He won it by 9.5 in 2016. The state has not elected a Democrat to the U.S. Senate since 2008. All 4 of its House members currently are Republicans. 5 out of the 6 statewide elected officials, including the governor and lieutenant governor, are Republicans. That said, Barack Obama did win here in 2008 and 2012. So there's some relatively recent history of voting for Democrats, but it has not really been a swing state in 2016 or 2020. Okay, number 2. The woman who did this poll for the Des Moines Register is named Ann Selzer. Ann Selzer. She is, I think, the best or among the best pollsters in terms of her polls being predictive of results of literally any pollster in the country. Not any pollster who does a state, any pollster in the country. I've got some numbers here about how close she was. Let's see. Okay. This is her final poll and then the final actual result. I'm just going to go through a few. 2022 Iowa Senate race, she had the Republican up 12. The Republican won by 12. 2020 presidential, she had Trump up by 7. Trump won by 8. 2020 Senate, she had the Republican candidate up 4. The Republican won by 7. 2018 governor, the Democrat up by 2. Republican won by 3. So that's one miss. 2016 presidential, R plus 7, it was R plus 9. 2014 Senate, R plus 7, it was R plus 8. And 2012 president, D plus 5, and it was D plus 6. I mean, with the one exception of the 2018 governor's race where she had the Democratic candidate up 2 and the Republican won by 3, that's a pretty damn good track record. She's basically within a point or 2 in every race but that. So she's a terrific pollster, among the best in the country. All right, point 3. The Des Moines Register poll, which Ann conducts, has not been particularly favorable to Democrats this year. So in June, this was when Joe Biden was still in the race, the poll showed Trump plus 18 in Iowa over Biden. Now, by September, when Kamala Harris was the nominee, it had Trump plus 4 over Harris. So this is not a poll that's been an outlier over time, but it has shown movement toward Harris, particularly since Biden dropped out of the race. So, it's possible that this is just continued momentum for Harris. Point 4, takeaway 4, thought 4, call it what you want. I think the gender gap in this poll and the gender gap in the election is going to be absolutely critical. So in this poll, Kamala Harris is beating Donald Trump among women by 20 points. Donald Trump is beating Kamala Harris among men by 14 points. That is always going to be a recipe for Kamala Harris to win. So if you need a cheat sheet to this election, the gender gap is it. If Harris beats Trump in any state among women more than Trump beats Harris among men, Harris is probably going to win that state. And vice versa is true too. If Trump beats Harris among men bigger than Harris beats Trump among women, Trump is probably going to win the state. So in Iowa, in this poll, she's up 20 among women, and he's only up 14 among men. That gap probably explains why she's ahead. All right, point number 5. You know how Donald Trump said I could shoot someone in the middle of Fifth Avenue and not lose any support? I actually think that's largely true. He's shown his ability to keep his supporters in line, but I will say in this poll, that's not necessarily true. So 1 in 6, about 16% of people who say they are not going to vote for Trump, so they're either voting for Harris or RFK Jr. or Jill Stein or some other candidate, they say they once did vote for Donald Trump. So about 1 in 6 people who have voted for Trump in the past, whether it was 2016 or 2020, are now saying they are not going to vote for him. That's in Iowa, obviously. But if that carries over to the rest of the swing states, that's a big deal. A really big deal. Last one, older voters. This is the place where the Cillizza poll is, to me, the strangest. Doesn't mean it's wrong, but the strangest. So in 2020, Donald Trump won Iowa voters over the age of 65 by 9 points. Okay, in this poll, in the Des Moines Register and Cillizza poll, that Harris is up 3 overall. She's up 19 points among voters 65 plus. So that would be a 28-point shift among 65 plus voters, from plus 9 Trump in 2020 to plus 19 Harris in 2024. I mean, if that's happening in Iowa or anywhere else, Trump is in deep, deep trouble. Overall, what should you think about this poll? Really credible pollster, right? Really credible. Among the best. Thank you, Thumb. That's for Ann Cillizza. I think it is brave of her to put out these results because they are not what other polls are showing. Other polls are showing Harris down 4, 5, 6 points in Iowa. So I think it's brave to put out a poll like this because you know you're an outlier. Doesn't mean you're wrong, but you know you're an outlier. If this poll is right and the situation in Iowa is reflective of the broader situation in the Midwest, even Wisconsin and Michigan, forget Pennsylvania, that's a very good thing for Kamala Harris. If she's in the running, if she wins Iowa, that's got to be a good sign for her candidacy nationally. And again, I don't know that she will, right? It's one poll. And what do I always say about polls? Don't assume one poll is right. Try to take the average of the polls. And the average of the polls, no question, in Iowa, show Donald Trump still ahead. Most of the election prediction models had given Harris like a 1 in 5 chance of winning Iowa. That's about, actually lower than that, about 1 in 10. It's probably about up to 1 in 5 now after this poll, but still, that's a long shot. But 1 in 5 times something happens doesn't mean it's a no shot. So, I always say treat it. I know Democrats will look at this. Let me say this. I know Democrats will look at this and say, see, Harris is going to win. This is proof. It might be. It might be a good sign for Harris, right? Overall. I mean, this is not the number we expected. I expected to be Trump up 5 or 6 in Iowa. At the same time, it could be an outlier, which does not mean Ann Cillizza is a bad pollster. It means, when you poll, sometimes you get an outlier. So we're going to see. I still think the election is close. Does this result make me wonder whether there might be a Harris, I don't want to say landslide, but an easier Harris victory out there? Sure. Because, again, if she's this competitive in Iowa, maybe the polling in Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania is missing something, right? Or maybe all the polls are missing something, and there's 2 or 3 or 4 more points for Harris than we think is out there. So we'll see. I mean, that's a great thing about elections. We're going to find out on Tuesday night. I'm going to be here right there with you, trying to explain it all, break it all down, tell you what matters and why it matters. As always, I ask you to do 4 things. 1, subscribe to this channel. It's easy. It's free. Just do it. 2, like this video. Again, free and easy. Do it. 3, comment on this video. Do you think this is an outlier? Do you think this is right? Let me know why you think that in the comment section. Number 4, tell 10 of your closest friends about this channel because we're trying to spread the word, trying to get to 50,000 subscribers. All right, everybody, take care of yourselves. Hang in there. We're almost there.